one of the directions that's been emerging in my, and I can say our, teaching of reflective meditation is that we find ourselves more drawn to current articles than ancient texts. And I noticed that we're seeking out voices of our time that we hear Dharma in, and that speak to the teachings that we know. And one such voice is Julie Beck, and we started talking about her yesterday. She's a staff writer at The Atlantic and a creator of the Friendship Files. So the topic is spiritual friendship, but we're also talking about friendships outside the spiritual communities, our work friends, our significant others, our other types of friends. There's so many types of friendship. So after 3 years of interviewing friends, she identified 6 forces that shape friendship: accumulation, attention, intention, ritual, imagination, and grace. So interestingly, and this is where, we're looking for resonance in people's voices and what they bring to the forefront. She calls them all ideals except for grace. And yet she says grace is like a gift so profound it can never be earned or deserved. It sounds like an ideal to me, and yet I do know it in some of my experience. So it's not like it's an ideal that's out of reach, but it also could set myself up to feel like when that doesn't happen, something went wrong. So, and that's part of what we get at in Dharma practice. We've long looked at ideals, and we don't try to get rid of them, but we do try to see how they function within our, the way we're acting, the way we know the world, because ideals can quietly loop us into suffering. I'm not doing it right. I mean, how many times have we even said that about a practice we've done for many years? And there's no right or wrong. We still, I'm not doing it right. Something's wrong with me, or something's wrong with them, or the world. So friendships, which are, can be so precious, so beautiful, they can also be a fertile ground for our ideals to run wild. So Julie names grace as the final and most important force in friendship. She writes, it's one that forgiveness we offer each other. This is part of grace, the forgiveness we offer each other when we fall short in the friendship, and also the space for connection and reconnection that feels miraculous at times with friendships. So grace, forgiveness, miracles, these aren't really words that we use so much in Buddhist circles. And for me, they carry the weight of my Christian upbringing. But I want to explore them a little bit more through my own experience and practice. So really kind of taking it on and seeing how does it operate with me. Yesterday I went to a celebration of life for Herbert. He's the husband of a dear friend. Really, they're from a past spiritual community of mine in the early 90s. And it was also a reunion, as these things usually are, funerals, weddings, these rituals that really are about friendship. I was going to see people who had once been close friends of mine, colleagues, teachers in the acupuncture world. And I was also going to see others I didn't want to see, friendships that had ended and friendships that hadn't gone through this process of forgiveness, and people that weren't still in my life for a reason. So the thought of reconnection didn't feel like a possibility for miraculousness yesterday. It actually felt like, I don't know if I want to go to this. How will I be able to do it? But still I went. And I doubt I was the only one there with mixed feelings. Even as we honored his life, we were reminded about how grief and friendship and loss all live close together. And I kind of thought, was grace something closer to the teaching of conditionality for me? And not surprising, that's the way I've been training myself to see the world. But the aspect of conditionality that not everything can be repaired in friendships. And I really saw that some friendships survive difficulty and some don't. A few times I've been really surprised by which friendships do survive and carry on. And I went to the celebration, really for my friend who had lost her husband. But I also found myself remembering other teachings. And this felt like the grace, I would say, is that I could see the Dharma in this experience while I was going through it. I could see how interconnected our lives were. And, ironically, or not ironically, Julie, the author of the article, also talks about rituals as being an important part of friendship. I could see the endings, but also that something remained. I still had a connection to these people, even if it wasn't the friendships that I have now in my spiritual community. They were changed and different. And also it pointed to whose death will I care about? And this was a really dharmic moment for me, is that some deaths are really going to shake me, the people that are close to me, and other people that even are not close to me, their death may shake me to my core. And this really made me see that friendship was a ground that I walk on. It's so interlaced with the way we see the world, I see the world. And it felt less like something to figure out, or I don't know if figure out's actually the right word, but it felt less like something that I had to get a grasp on, but more like something I have to live through and with. Friendship, imperfect. I felt tenderness for this, and the awareness of the nuances of the people I called friends, who were still friends, who were not friends. I felt caring towards it, the whole situation, and myself for going through it. So grace in friendship, it may not be something we can manufacture. I think this is something that is more of a result. Even probably Julie Beck would say it that way. In reflective meditation, I would say we notice the conditions for it to arise. We notice when we soften towards people, and that helps keep a friendship, or changes the way the friendship, we feel about the friendship. Around old hurts, we can recognize and remember the grief that we've gone through with friends and how that ties us and bonds us, and also in ways that will separate us. And we can make space for that complexity that friendship really inevitably contains. So in our book, the reflective meditation, Cultivating Kindness and Curiosity in the Buddhist Company, we talk about high ideals with friendliness. And I think this again shows how deep we consider friendship. We look at it in our relationship to ourselves, to our world, to the way we understand how our experience unfolds. And we're looking to have more friendliness. And more friends? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, I'll end here.